You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
At the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, and streaming live on Ustream, this is AfterBuzz TV for the Sing-Off. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip about the Sing-Off. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, picking up where the show leaves off and the buzz continues, it's AfterBuzz TV for the Sing-Off.
Hey everybody, it's Tamara here for the Sing-Off Season 3, Episode 6, the hip-hop episode. I'm joined in studio by Steve Bottomley,
Hello.
by Ronnie Jr.,
Hello.
and our special guest, Kim, damn it, I was going to get it. And our special guest,
I won $1.
I was totally intimidated by her last name is what happened. And by our special guest, Kim Lai Yingling.
Hooray!
You got it.
Nicely
And I
done.
did it without looking at the page while I was doing it. And we have the fabulous and talented and beautiful Jessie Janity in the booth running the show.
AfterBuzz. Wow.
Yeah.
Stepping it up.
Every week we get some kind of new sound. It's crazy.
I thought that was Jesse doing his homage to the sing-off.
That was. I've been working on it all week.
That is beautiful.
Well done,
Thank
sir.
you, Jesse. So, okay, first thing that I want to get into is I just need to know everybody's status. So you have seen only this season of the Sing-Off.
That's correct.
Steve. Ronnie, you've seen all seasons.
Well, mostly season 1, a little season 2.
Okay, and then all of season 3. And then you?
Just came on board this season.
Okay, but you've seen other episodes. This isn't your first episode?
First episode.
First episode.
Oh, love
For-
the
for
sing-off.
season 3.
I
Okay.
love it.
Fantastic. So, okay, I just need to know because there's certain things we'll probably have to catch you up on as we go.
I'm not the rookie anymore.
No, you are no
Yay.
longer the new girl.
I feel like such a veteran.
Steve, no longer the new girl.
No.
Okay, so opened up Hip Hop Week with Nothing on You. And as usual, I loved the opening song. Anybody else?
Here's what I liked about it. There
Yeah.
was no auto-tune, which is a favorite tool of hip-hop. And they weren't able to use that for any of the openings, so I was a little bit confused on if it was true hip-hop or not. Other than that, I thought...
Well, it was hip hop and club music, actually, so not all
A
necessarily.
lot of songs snuck in more
Yeah,
dancey
wouldn't you say?
than hip hop. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
as
Which is
Steve
okay,
said,
yeah.
as Steve said on his first sing-off episode, Kim Lai said the same thing, which was, "Wait a second, I thought this was a cappella," and we went, "It is."
I couldn't believe that. I thought I was watching an episode of Glee.
Right?
With that first group. I am not kidding. I was like, oh.
I said
Glee.
the exact same thing. In
Yeah.
the opening thing, I look over to Tammy, I thought it was, she's like,
It
is.
is.
that is what makes the sing-off very
So
special.
amazing. So amazing.
I was really impressed with what they could do with their mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
sounds that could come out of their mouth. I had
It's really
no
amazing.
idea.
It's
Opening
really
number's
incredible.
always the best. It's warm, no competition yet. It's
Exactly.
It's good.
And massive voices, you
Yeah.
know, and they're all those little solos and just beautiful. I just thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, every
Loved it, loved it,
week.
loved it.
And it's interesting. As the groups you get, as you know, smaller and smaller, as more people, it seems like the opening numbers are bigger somehow.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I would
it's-
expect a lesser
feel
number
some
of
diminishing,
people, but
yeah.
no, there's still
Maybe there's more-
155 of them out there.
Exactly.
Maybe there's more room for dynamics. Maybe there's more room to kind of like showcase people. I think they're showcasing more and more. But before it was just kind of this big wall of sound. Now it's kind of like a real song that goes somewhere. And so I really liked it
Which is
too.
always
It was
pleases-
one of the
I love
best
it.
For the opens, I thought.
We say that every week.
And no, well, but it feels good.
I do.
It feels
Dartmouth,
good for there only to be
Dartmouth.
8. Well, no, we're not even there yet. This
We're
is just the open
opening
when
number with everybody.
when all the groups come
Yeah.
together. Yeah.
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 Hey, can I ask who here has hip hop knowledge? I will
Ronnie.
not.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
I mean,
Ronnie.
yeah,
Oh, well,
I
Ronnie and Jesse.
I've been in
That
radio,
there's only
so,
4
yeah,
chords
he
in
DJs
hip-hop.
and yeah.
There's only
You
4
learned that
chords
tonight,
in
didn't you?
hip hop.
Did you find the fourth code?
Well, I have to reveal that at the end.
I didn't.
No, yeah, you
Like
can
I
only
said,
hear 3.
I thought they were being generous going with the 4 chords. So.
Yeah.
No, so I've got no, I mean, I recognize some of the songs, but as far as like structure and what they're looking for, I was not. But here's what I learned: I don't think it matters.
Right. Well, one of the things that I thought was great about the way they structured this is that they took great liberties with the songs and really changed them a lot. Wouldn't you say so, Ronnie?
Well, a couple of the songs, what I had in my notes were actually not really original hip hop songs to begin with. So
Right.
to kind of, let's go with, we'll get to it as we go there, but the Police and Every Breath You Take,
Right.
which when they talked about it in the package, they're like, oh, we did, a Puffy song, which I know you don't
Right.
like his 15 names, but yeah, so there was a lot to choose from. It wasn't just like this element of like hip hop. Like people went on the dance angle, people went on like renditions. So
Right.
there were certainly different choices you can go with. You know?
Right. Right. But I think it was really telling with the last song how different those two interpretations of the same song were.
Yes.
So I thought that was a great, sort of it was a great opportunity to
And
kind
as
of
we
really
watched
give
the
it a
show, you and I, that was the I kind of forgot, but yeah, that was the very first real
actual sing-off.
What'd you call it? It was the sing-off?
Sing-off.
Yeah. I liked it. I thought it would be completely cheesy and completely, okay, we're ready for the show to end.
It was exciting
No,
though,
it was
wasn't
good.
it?
Well, damn, they're sitting there like one of us is getting voted home. And
You're standing 10 feet
boom,
away.
and then the first group, they do their version, and then you're like, okay, and it happens quick.
Yeah.
So, but at the
yeah.
end,
But here's the thing about that. You know that if you're singing this song, this is your last chance.
Right.
And neither one of those groups, I don't know if we're going to jump to the end there, but neither one of those groups.
We're not. Just kidding.
Okay.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm
sorry.
just kidding. Go
I'll
ahead.
keep it to
keep
myself.
talking. It's so
No.
darn
No, it's good, it's
captivating.
good.
No. What I'm saying is that neither one of those groups, when they were singing that, delivered that. Really, I thought neither one of them really said, this has got to be absolutely perfect. This is our last chance. And they both were kind of like going, I hope I'm not as bad as that guy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't that sort of, this is, I don't want to be singing the song, but if I am, let's make this really awesome.
I thought the Yellow Jackets really pulled through on
Between the two,
last
yeah.
song. Well, okay, yeah, between the two. It's
Yeah.
just them two.
But we'll find out.
I don't know if they
Bill.
gave it
We'll
their
find out who
all,
are
but-
the last people a little
But
bit
seriously,
later.
But when you're watching them, didn't you think that, guys, really? I mean,
the first group, I mean, I can't even remember who they are right
you
now
should
without looking at my
have
notes.
Everything there, and there should be absolute
collective.
perfection.
Let's get back to that because I have some things to say, but
Okay.
I want to get there in the
I
end.
know, we're
and
jumping.
Ronnie and I both kind of want to
Yeah,
get talking
we'll
about
get
the
right to
Ronnie's
it. Yeah.
So
fault.
the
He's
Dartmouth
fault.
Airs,
Order.
Dartmouth Airs
I did
Club
nothing
can't
wrong.
Club can't handle me. So in my notes, I said that Michael, who I absolutely love and adore, I think he's phenomenally talented. I felt like he was pushing the vocal a little bit, and
He's the black guy, right?
mhm.
Okay.
And the opening of the song just felt slightly hollow to me. And then and they're Ronnie, you'll remember this from
Yes.
last season, the Oregon college group who did the Gaga song, I can't remember.
And
that
it's so
song.
great that I'm on the spot and now I'm not coming through in the clutch. I should have brought my computer.
It's who
and
they
looked it
reminded
up.
me of. But anyway, I thought it was really energetic. I loved the end of it. I thought Henry rapping was really good. I really liked it. What did you think?
I did too. Is Henry the white guy?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
I thought
Henry's
the
white
white
guy.
dude rapped really
Yeah.
well because wasn't he a little nervous about rapping to begin with? So I thought he
Yes,
was
indeed.
on beat, rhythm was good. That's the one that I thought was like watching Glee when I saw them.
Oh,
It was like an outside scene from Glee.
Ah.
It was good. It made me feel good. It was a happy song. It was energetic. I liked it.
For me, I could appreciate the when you talked about the guy who was rapping, the animated essence that he had. He basically took on the fact that this is not what I do. I don't rap at all, and he sort of playfully overdid it, which
Right.
which I thought for the performance element was cool to watch.
Right.
It was good, and they've continued to bring interesting stuff each and every week. So I felt the justice in them trying to actually hit the genre, even though the song itself is more dancey than actually hip hop.
Right.
It's the Flow Rider song,
Right.
So it was a perfect choice for them to kind of do something with.
Here's
And
what I
Steve-
would do.
Yeah.
If I were in that situation, I would find out what my strength is, and then during the film, I would say, "Oh, we're really nervous about this. We don't think he can pull it off."
Right,
Because I'm
right.
telling you,
Right.
every time they pimp something in the film,
I know.
you're totally watching
Yes.
this thing. You're like going, "Oh my God, can he do it? Can he do it?" And I would absolutely just like find my
It's called
strongest guy.
lowering expectations.
It's called
I do it all the time.
okay. um, and so when they did it, and when they do that 1, 2, 3, 4, if you pull 1, 2, 3, 4, you better have a huge backup
Response.
for that.
Mhm.
Yeah, because if you don't,
Yep.
and they didn't,
Yep.
it's really, really noticeable. And that was, I think you mentioned, it's kind of like there was something not quite there. I think that's what it was. It was, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll get back to it. But yeah, I thought Michael, I thought he had kind of a Broadway feel to his vocals on this time. They were very big, very,
And we've
absolutely-
said that before about that exact
Yeah.
same guy. So.
Yeah.
Right. Well, he was huge in Pinball Wizard.
Yeah.
That's when they did that.
I think that's when we all said it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what really was sending them over. But yeah, so I think the film, and again, a side note, every one of those first 4 all said the same thing in their film, which was, "This is not what
My
we
genre.
do.
This is
This
not.
Yeah,
not us.
every single
This
one.
is not
Out
what
of
we do."
our comfort zone.
And in the second 2, I think there was only like
Yeah.
one that said, "We don't do this." The other 3 are like, "Oh,
Yeah.
well, we got
No
this."
worries.
But yeah, when they were done, I'm like, "Okay, you're good for another week."
As
Yeah.
we get into
Yeah.
judging, can I please talk about Sean, the judge,
Yeah.
from Boyz II Men, and how this was his episode to
Yeah,
really,
we were funny. That was
you
great.
know, Mr. Motown Philly, he really got a little more hip hop ish.
In his, right,
way he
just
was
sort of in his
talking and stuff?
vernacular.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes. We watched
Oh,
every
yeah.
single episode, and he'll say the most. I don't know. He'll just say just different type of words. And this episode, he was
was
with
pulling it all
you know,
out.
I mean, brother. It was he was going there. So I guess I appreciate that. He's
Yeah.
always fun to watch as a judge, though.
Yeah, he is. He
And
is.
they-
And
they-
Ben
they-
Folds definitely knew it wasn't his because
Yeah.
he was like, "I'm going to be
Wow.
the nerdy white guy here."
You will see, Kim
He
Lai.
was hilarious.
He was
Didn't I tell
funny.
you? Like, if
Oh
you
my
don't know
God.
the voice, yeah.
Well, he's a little rabbit to me, but he's so cute. His teeth, I just a little
He's
rabbit.
gonna get his own TV show one day.
But
we
he
feel
is.
funny,
that.
funny
We're
comments.
absolutely.
really good
But he was
rabbit.
so good.
No, it's really.
I mean,
a
he was
rabbit.
so right on.
Yeah, his comments are always really
Mm-hmm.
dead on. Yeah, I really appreciate what he has to say. And every time I
Absolutely.
write something down, you'll start to hear this because every time I write something down that later Ben Folds says,
Uh-huh.
I'm like, oh my God, I'm so smart.
You guys are tuned in.
Hold up the paper.
I said that right. So then we had Afro Blue singing "Killing Me Softly," a Roberta Flack remixed by the Fugees, and now by Afro Blue. Steve, what did you think?
You know what? First of all, it's not what they do.
Right?
They said that.
Way
do
out of their
this.
comfort
Here's what I
zone.
liked
Way.
about them. They found the jazz version. First of all, I really like that song. I like Roberta Flack's version, and I like the Fugees.
Yeah.
Is that one? Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
That was one of them that I did know. And when they said they were doing it, I was like, oh, yeah, good. Because there's so much that they can do in their jazz feel.
Right.
And when they finally got into that jazz feel, it just was really lush and beautiful. I really enjoyed it. The problem was, for whatever reason, they decided not to go the right way. And they had that sort of disjointed crosstalk thing in the beginning. And I'm like, man, you're
Yeah.
just burning time here. You're just burning time. Go to your strength.
I felt the I felt
Absolutely.
the same way. I felt like, but they finally did get it together.
They
and,
did?
and because it was a lot of disparate parts, and they spent too long
bars.
too long. Exactly, it should have been 2 bars. They spent too long being apart because when they came together, it was really something.
Exactly. And I think if they remember what they're about,
Yeah.
they're about a jazz and
Yep.
the fusion and all
Yep.
that sort of stuff, and just stay true to that, I think they'll be fine. But I think honestly they were thrown because I would say there was only one band, probably Urban Method, that knew what the hell they were supposed to do with this thing. Everybody else was kind of like
Flailing a
struggling.
little.
Yeah, flailing a little. Like, what do they want? What do they want?
Mm-hmm.
And on the aside of this, where do they find these rehearsal spaces? Because Afro Blue had a really cool space to rehearse in.
They were the ones that they were no.
They were like in the storage, like in the warehouse, and broken with the bricks and everything. And
Oh yeah.
the wrought iron and stuff. And I'm wondering, I mean, if they go, look, I got a great place to film you, but it's like, 2 hours outside of town. Like, no,
Well,
find me
you know.
somewhere local because we want to rehearse.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's local, but they found some really cool places. They got
Well,
some
but
great
think about it.
visuals.
I mean, there are theaters all around this town,
Yeah.
and places that have
lot
funky
of
brick
spaces
walls and
downtown.
great,
Yeah, yeah.
beautiful staircases.
I'll bet there's a
things
few
like that.
sound stages.
I would
nearby.
imagine you'd be able to find
Few.
one or two.
Anyway, that's my take.
So Kim Lai, what did you think?
I love the song. I mean, the judges obviously loved it too. I wish the tempo, like you were talking about, just getting to it. They had gone 2 bars. It was kind of slow. I wish the tempo through the whole song would have been a little
Faster?
just a little bit faster. I kept
Right.
like, oh, I just wanted to speed up a little more, and it just was lagging to me.
I didn't feel that way. I understand feeling that way, but because I'm so accustomed to the original of it, and I thought, well, I don't know. I don't know if you can kill somebody softly faster. That's just sort of
Can you kill him softly?
To make it more hip hop.
Right.
And I think
Hop
that,
to the hop hip hop.
but I think that's the same.
That makes
I think
sense.
that's the problem they were having is
Because they
is
didn't know.
because
They were out of their element.
They didn't know what to do.
Well,
with
and
it.
their one goal was to make it sound like Roberta Flack, to make it sound like the Fugees, but to
Right.
make it sound like
Like
them.
them.
So in reality, I
Yeah.
felt like what was a justice in that, because you kind of did hear all of it, was also a disservice to them,
Right.
because even me, being the non-singer of the group, I wrote in my notes, there was like some arrangement issues. So I don't know
Yeah.
if it's just I've watched the sing-off enough, but I felt like it was having to go to A to B, we weren't getting there in some weird way, you know?
Right,
You know?
right,
Or
right.
to go from A to C, we needed a B, I guess.
Yeah, and sort of.
Did you
there was,
notice it in the beginning as well?
I didn't mind the beginning. I actually didn't mind the
Right.
beginning. I guess I was just so into it. It did sound like the Fugees version, so that kind of
Yeah.
maybe connected to me.
Yeah.
But going from there, and then they really like hammered it when they got to the Roberta Flack version, but it didn't. We had to go around to get there, and that was off-putting, I guess, for all four of us.
Yeah.
Really,
I wonder why they picked who selects the songs. They do.
they get to choose.
They
yeah.
do because a couple changed it up, or at least one did. But
I
previously,
wonder why they even picked.
I'm sure that they. Well, again,
I know she was an alumni.
I would guess they got a
Oh,
list.
nice. Yeah. Well,
She was an alumni of their. school?
Howard University. Yeah, that's where
Right.
the group is from, and that's where Roberta Flack went
Right.
to as well. So.
Don't you think there's a list? That
Yes,
they say
I'm
you
sure.
can
Oh, yeah.
choose
Well, because
from
here's the
these?
thing: there are
Oh.
some
They look
songs
at
that they can't get clear. The NBC
Right.
can't get
Oh.
clearance on. So there are
Right,
some songs
right.
that groups say we want to do this, and NBC says no.
Right.
So there is definitely producer input, absolutely. And I would imagine they also, have suggestions for groups. And when we get later into the season, if they do it the way they have in past, they are given songs to sing in certain situations. So they
Okay.
can't rely on things that they may have done all the time and
Okay.
that sort of thing. So it definitely
And
gets more
by the way,
challenging.
that rarely works for them. The people that have done like, oh yeah, cool, because we have our pocket. Excuse me, we have our pocket song. We're
Right.
gonna pull.
Uh-huh.
And the problem is they've done it so many times. There's no energy into it anymore. It's just kind of like this rote sort of
Yeah.
thing. So that's not necessarily a good thing.
A
to see
winner,
that
yeah.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah. So then next we had the collective singing "Give Me Everything," and so the collective, just to catch you up, the collective is kind of a manufacturer group, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but I mean that they were assembled by the second place. The second place group from last year was called Street Corner Symphony.
Okay.
Fantastic, wonderful, and one of my two top groups from last season. The brother, the lead singer who was in Street Corner Symphony, his brother is Jeremy or Joshua, I can't remember his name, who
Okay.
is in the collective. So the brother who was in Street Corner Symphony assembled the collective. So they have kind of a provenance of last season. And a bunch of solo singers, which we have in a couple of other groups. So they've been having kind of issues with becoming a group for real. So anyway, we have Ruby, who is amazing. I felt that this song was just really problematic from the beginning because there were no dynamics in it.
Yeah.
Right?
Beat was there, but it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Because it's not what they do. But yeah, no,
Right.
seriously, it was just laying flat, and it would be an enjoyable song to hear on the radio as you're doing something else, like varnishing a chair.
Right.
Oh,
But
nice.
if you're sitting there wanting to, go, okay, you're competing for $200,000 in a record contract.
Right.
No, you got to do something better than this.
Right.
Right.
I thought it would give an opportunity, but as we saw it didn't give that opportunity to really become owned in that a cappella sense. It seemed like it would be because Neo and his rhythmic side,
Yeah.
but and I love the words in the song. So I do feel like it sort of took me there, but there were some letdown moments, for the whole thing together.
They just have to start figuring out ways to go beyond the a cappella sound. And we'll get to it later with Yellow Jackets.
Right.
But if you don't have that, like,
Pentatonics or
Yeah.
the Dartmouth Airs.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Then you're going to start having that flat sort of. That's nice, but we've heard that. You've got to start thinking, what can we do? How can we change this up? And they didn't have that.
Did you guys think Ruby stood out at all in this performance? I still continuously kind of liked her,
I
No.
did.
In this one?
I don't
See,
think she
I
really
did.
did.
I
I-
did like her, but I would like to know what Kim Lai has to say about that because her vibrato in the end I felt was really off-putting. Her very last little solo, she was doing some styling, and I just couldn't stand it. But I want to know what you think.
I thought the song as a whole, I thought it needed more bass. I thought it needed more instruments. This was my least favorite group.
Really?
Right from the beginning. It didn't do anything for me.
Okay.
No,
and
they
how
did
was
get
Ruby
shown.
for you? She was the lead.
The Tina Turner looking girl.
Okay. I wasn't really impressed. Was she the one at the end? They got kicked off, right?
Oh.
Yes.
Right. They're the ones
Maybe.
that totally got kicked off, and she's the one who said, "This isn't the last you'll see
Yes,
of
yes,
us."
Yes, that's right.
I wasn't that impressed.
Okay.
So that might be the last you see of her.
Right.
It didn't. Some people they give you goosebumps, and
Right. Well,
and that
in
wasn't.
the past she has, but I will absolutely go along with that. That this was the one time where and someone's got to go, and
Yeah.
you got to bring it every damn week.
Yeah.
And by the way, none of what they're doing is easy. This is some of the hardest
No.
stuff you will ever.
How much time do they
ever
get to
do.
prepare?
A week.
Wait, it is a week. Okay.
And as we learned tonight, you have to learn 2 songs
Right.
in this week.
Yeah.
What you're gonna do, and if you're chosen for the sing off, and those bass notes that you hear in those, that's insanely hard to find those and to hold those when you're working in that register. So everything that you're seeing, even though we're saying, oh, it could have been better, it's like
phenomenal.
It is phenomenal
Yeah.
and insanely difficult to
Yeah.
pull off at this level.
Yeah.
So kudos for them but
Getting
it wouldn't
this
be a
far.
show if everybody won.
Well, one of the things that I thought was really different that I heard this week was almost every group, as they were preparing, you heard them tuning. Doing their
Right,
pitch pipes
right,
or
right,
whatever
right.
or whatever it is they used. And I've never heard that before. Like last season, you never heard it. And I remember being completely amazed. I spent half of last season just crying because I was so amazed by the sounds that these people made. And they were incredibly proficient at what they did. And I never heard a pitch pipe come out. And when Vocal Point came on tonight, I went, "There's that damn pitch pipe again." And it was maybe they just didn't have the mics open before, and somebody was really on them. But I was really surprised to hear pitch pipes or whatever it is they're using to find their pitch in the
I
beginning.
wonder if they use them when there's so many of them.
But every one of the first, because Afro Blue only has like 8 performers,
Yep.
right? Something like that. Collective has six
It must
or
be a
10 or
mic
something like
thing.
that.
It must be
Maybe
a mic
so,
thing
maybe
because,
so.
you have to have that. If you can't like give your pitch off stage and then everybody hold it
Right.
as we're gonna walk to the stage. So
You would think, but you need to watch Committed from last season's winner. You need to
Really?
watch them.
maybe if you're good enough to win, you have that talent.
Maybe you do, because
What wouldn't that drive you crazy in rehearsal?
yeah, really,
What do you mean you don't know the pitch? Because I'm not genius.
yeah.
Anyway,
Okay, so then we get to Vocal Point, the Mormon boys, the most fun you can have being Mormon, singing "I'll Be Missing You." This was the first time I teared up, and who else
Did
said
you?
that?
I didn't even see that.
Well, my
Whoa.
boyfriend Ben Folds said it too.
oh yeah, you two were of the same ilk.
It was the first time I got chills watching the show, and because I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for it.
For
It was
that
the first
moment,
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not
Um,
what they do.
But do you
No.
think it was because of the story behind it? Did that have anything to do with it? I mean, the fact that his dad died, right?
What?
Yes.
Yes,
That
we
was
did.
it.
Okay.
Ben's dad died. Yeah, absolutely, that was part of it. But for me, I came in, and if that was really the thing, it would have hit me in the first few notes. And when they got in and did this beautiful build. And parts of it, I wasn't even looking. I closed my eyes so that I could really hear.
Right.
And then at the very end, you saw Ben, red eyes, really feeling it. That's, that absolutely is the time when normally we get tenderhearted, mushy inside me. But I got it earlier just because of the sound, because I thought that modulation that they did was like, that's why I love the sing off, is when they do those modulations, when they do those falls, when they do that kind of stuff, because it's so hard.
It's incredibly
it's
hard.
so hard.
But done right, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It was lush and it was full. I really, really liked the emotional content when I realized that most of the people were singing because Ben was gone,
Yeah.
and Ben was actually singing to his dad.
Yeah.
That and the fact that it got pitchy and stuff, but the fact that they kept it together, is good enough.
I think
But I actually thought that would put him on the bubble. I was wrong.
Yeah.
But because it got so pitchy, but then I was thinking, nah, they're giving him slack because the emotional aspect of it. But
Is he generally the lead? Because they kept talking about how we're so
no,
glad
but he's
having
a
him
really
back, or-
he's a really
Well, he's just
integral
fresh back to the
part.
show.
He's
He
just
just-
genuine. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's part of like the backbone of it and keeps everybody like I think he's just a really good energy. And because they were absolutely missing him, and he was gone since the beginning, so he just came back last week.
Yeah.
So they've
So the
gone
first
through quite a lot
four
without
episodes,
him.
Oh
they
wow.
didn't have him.
Okay.
So yeah, and it's made a difference since he's been back. It's not like you
Yeah?
know, oh my God, he's here, but you can tell the whole group feels like they're singing like they're complete.
Yeah. Yeah. Ronnie, you wanted to say
well,
something.
no, I generally like the performance, and I tried my best going into it, thinking I wanted to remove that big
Yeah.
emotion, and I really tried to just listen to it as the song itself. And probably, if you watch the package and you hear the dad situation, it probably stays with you a little.
Of course.
But I feel like I really just liked it in general, and then I think towards the end of the performance, as you said, is when I connected, like, oh yeah, and it is about the dad, and life is short. And all that good stuff. So you definitely had a moment there. So that was good. And I didn't, you said they were on the bubble, you thought. I'm glad they didn't get on the bubble because I do want to see much more of them, so.
Yeah, I was surprised that they weren't because I actually thought Collective was better. Technically, Collective
Then
was
Vocal
better.
Point, really?
Yeah, but I guess the fact that
Wow.
Collective didn't have anything there and Vocal Point at least had the emotional aspect that they're and that's what the judges said. You know, we're really pleased that you guys let your emotions show. So
And
I guess they were
connected
saying,
with it
look, you know, you brought that and that's something different. So
Do they normally connect? Or
The,
is it because of this situation that they finally connected?
on this one, well, I think last week they really connected.
This
when
group
Ben
actually
came
has
back.
been, I don't think I've ever written down or as we've talked, I've said, oh, I really like this group. But as the last couple of weeks have went on, I could honestly say they are really stepping it up, or not necessarily stepping it up, but they are showing each and every week they're here and they're here for a reason. They grab each task, they make it their own, they find a way to push it through. So maybe there are some issues, to work through, but I hope for a couple more weeks with this group.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And listen, the fact that the Dartmouth Airs vocal group made it past this show is something because these guys are not hip hop artists by any means.
Right.
This is as far away from their comfort zone, I guess, as they're ever going to get short of doing punk rock.
You talking about this group?
Yeah,
but
the
again,
Several of the groups.
Vocal
Yeah.
Point in Dartmouth, the
Eight.
fact that they were
Oh,
able
yeah.
to at least get not on the bubble with hip hop.
Yeah. The only thing about that is Vocal Point and what they did for this one, Missing You, and being a Police, song originally. I don't know. It wasn't like that was the most
So
hip hop
far
driven
away.
song.
But- yeah.
There was something else they could have pulled from it, which they could have pulled from the Police original version.
But did they put the Police in there, or was that part of Puff Daddy's arrangement?
I thought it was part of Puffy's.
It was basically from the Every Breath You Take song. It was
Right.
Puffy utilizing
Yeah.
that in his song.
so it's sampled in
Yes,
in the song.
and he turned it into a song called "Missing You."
Right.
Right.
Really little to no rap, to be quite honest with you. So I think that's if you're going to a challenge, you're like, God, I can't do the hip hop thing at all. Well, you find a way to make it work, and that's what they did.
Right.
So that was a good song choice for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we ended up having the Collective, and I can't actually remember who they were up against for the being on the bubble. But anyway, the Collective was not safe.
It was Vocal Point actually.
It was. Okay. So the Collective ends up in the bottom two. We know what happens to them in the end. So anyway, we go to
Yeah.
part two. Urban Method does Airplanes.
They attempt first to do Dr. Dre, California Love, which honestly, all four of us were like, not into it.
Right.
And so thankfully they switched it too.
Yeah.
Because that, I don't know, just California Love wasn't the choice I would have wanted to see. And they moved on to a different song.
Now they were having some pressure because this really is in their backyard, and everybody knows,
Yes.
this is what you guys bring to this. Is
Yeah, they
your-
have a rapper in their group.
exactly, and they've always utilized that.
So they were sort of
So-
setting the bar and the ones to beat,
Exactly.
really, in this episode.
And listen, when they said they changed the songs, we just kind of look at each other and went, that never works. Everyone in the past who's changed up their song,
in midweek,
it just
they're gone.
they're just not ready to hit the stage,
Right.
and it shows. Not these guys. Dang. First of all,
Say it.
cricket,
Crickets.
the crickets.
Oh, yeah.
Crickets are
First
cool.
time
I was listening to that and going, how in the world does he make that sound?
I don't know.
Does he have like something in
Did
his
you know
mouth?
who was making
I
the sound?
don't know.
I mean,
It
yeah,
was
I don't know who
I
it
think it
is,
was a
but yeah, it's
percussionist
Richard.
kid.
Sometimes I kept looking to see who was doing what with their mouth.
Yeah.
It was
It was
Richard.
It was
amazing.
just that
some
one
of the
guy sitting down
sounds.
there that they had. You know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of.
They've got such an amazing low end. I mean, when they brought that low end right after that cricket, and it was like, you feel that. It got lost a little bit when the rest of the stuff come in it.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that stuff is so hard to do.
You know, we talked about them first episode, I think, because we were sort of, surmising what was going to happen because they were the one group that had a rapper in the group. And he rapped for the first 3 episodes and didn't actually sing. So we didn't realize until last week
What he could do,
that
yeah.
he could sing.
Oh.
And he can sing.
Yeah,
He
that
could
could-
sing in that
Well,
group.
He can
Troy
sing.
can sing. I mean,
And the thing is about them, I said from the very beginning, I said they're going to keep them around just because he's a good gimmick, having a rapper and a cappella. But I'm continually surprised every week that they show me something different. They show me something new, and I'm always impressed with them. And I keep expecting for them to hit their peak and start losing it, and they haven't. They just keep getting better every week.
Are they the
That's
ones
what
that
I
had
think.
the blonde girl do the intro?
yeah, that was in this performance. Actually, I wrote in my notes, the girls did kind of drop the ball. That's where they step in and do Haley's portion
Yes,
from
yes,
Paramore
yes.
in
Right.
the actual song.
Yes.
So we all kind of agreed, and each judge did make a mention that the girls, in a nice way, of course.
I mean, they should have switched. The brunette should have sang the lyrics. She just
Yeah.
seems so much stronger than the blonde girl.
That was-
I don't know their names, but it was that intro I thought it was very weak. It was an
that
extremely
was probably
weak
the
intro.
weaker portion of the performance. I love the song choice.
It was.
though. That song, for me, I always connect on like what they're choosing. That song
Yeah.
has a lot of not really like symbolism, but wishing. It's basically saying like you're wishing on a star, you're wishing on the airplanes to make your dreams happen or whatnot. So that was a good connection. Great that they got out of California Love because that wouldn't really have done much.
Yep.
So boom,
Yep. I thought they were really good.
Was this the one where the judges said the girls weren't as strong as they wanted?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
all right.
that's
Okay.
the one. So then
That
we
little
had
part at the beginning.
Pentatonics doing Love Lockdown. Okay, so here we go.
Oh.
Steve and I have a little side note to talk
Okay.
about. Steve and I are both writers, and we have a pet peeve that we share.
And we are pushing a huge boulder up a very big hill.
It is. But we are here for a stand for proper pronunciation.
Oh,
And
what is it? What was it?
So Pentatonic said, as everyone else did, we don't really do rap. This is not our forte.
Forte.
And we just want to state right here, right now, that is the wrong pronunciation of that word
It
in
is.
that.
Forte?
Yes.
Yes. It is
Forte
fort.
is a musical term. When you're
Fort?
talking about being proficient at something, it is my fort.
AfterBuzz TV exclusive.
Thank you, Jesse.
Now here's where I need to go back a little further.
Listen,
which
use it, and
my-
impress people in conversation.
and my mom actually corrected me about 4 or 5 years ago on it, and at the time I'm like,
Oh, no
going-
kidding?
Yeah, at that time I'm like going, yeah, whatever, Alzheimer's, but no. Turns out she's like absolutely right.
Yeah.
And now,
This was a
but
college
that's
thing for
right.
me. I learned about it in college.
It's a forte is a musical term.
That's right.
But it is.
And that's
fort.
why people often mispronounce it because
Yes.
they're used to hearing it as a musical term. But when you're talking about being proficient or good at something, or this is my
Yeah.
area of expertise, this is my fort.
everyone uses it the wrong way.
I know. Wow.
Not if
Now
they-
you won't.
Not
I
if
didn't
they
even know
listen
fort.
to us.
You
And,
see-
but
I
here's
thought
the
it was
thing.
forte.
Here's the thing. Now, if you use it as fort, they go, it's forte.
And then you, and
Which
then
is
you get
even
to-
better because you could. I'm gonna throw some salt in that wound.
That's
I'm gonna
right.
get you back.
That's right.
Wow.
Happens at
I
parties
feel a
all
little
the
bit
time.
smarter from sitting in this
There
chair
it
right
is.
here.
There it is. So
Fort.
my note on them was that they were proficient. They had a really full sound. I'm not sure that this song was great for them, but I think they're really, really good.
I love the zombie dance.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about pentatonics, and
I
you've
love
been here
them
from the
too.
beginning, but
Yes.
they always bring something odd, interesting.
Yes.
Usually it's musical. Last week they did the whole breakdown thing.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Video killed the radio star. They
wish I would've saw
but this time
You
the
can find it online.
music was really legitimate. But what they did is they brought this weird zombie energy dance that. I was like, okay, well, all right, that's cool. We'll go with that. But I was really kind of hoping for something more pentatonic-like with the music. And by the way, Avi looks like a very young John Entwistle.
Yeah.
You were saying that. when you
Any
guys-
Who fans out there that want to see what John Entwistle look like probably at 16?
That's what he looks like, Avi. Yeah.
You guys, does it matter that there's only 5 of them?
There's challenges probably at times, right?
No,
I
in
mean,
fact, it's an advantage at times. And
I mean,
we'll
that's
explain
pretty
that in a minute.
amazing. Because when they all came out, I was waiting for
She
the
did ask me.
rest.
You were
I was
like-
like,
you're like-
where's the rest of the group?
Did you feel like they needed more?
No, I have that they were extremely consistent, but I do think it would be an advantage. I mean, it takes 20, like the Yellow Jackets. It's like all of them, but to get the sound they get.
Right.
And then you have these 5 that get that same sound.
And later on, I'm going to explain why I think that's a disadvantage to the Yellow Jackets. And why smaller
way
groups
too
at
many.
this point are going to actually get you further along faster.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think you're going to stay alive longer in smaller groups. And I'll explain my theory in a minute.
Well, last season, the top 2 groups had 6 or fewer people in them.
Okay.
Season 2, it was also a small group. I can't remember their names. I'm sorry, and I have no idea on season 1. So, based on results, based on who wins, it's an advantage to have fewer people. In your
Well, I
group.
liked how the judges were talking about how they can see each one individually, or they can
Right.
hear. Well, see too, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
But see and hear them individually. Where when you have the big group, it's like it's hard to figure out like who's doing the cricket sounds. And
Yeah.
there's,
Right.
you know, it's
Right.
many of
Did you have
them.
anything on Pentatonic?
I do want to. My note was I want to see them succeed, so I definitely connected them
Yeah.
in a weird way.
Yeah.
I as far as the song goes, it is a passionate song. That song he actually Kanye West actually performed that song right after he went through a lot of media crap, I guess you would say. It was after his
right.
mother.
For which one? For
Love Lockdown.
George Bush hates black
Yeah, I know.
people?
Which
Well,
incident?
Well, yeah, it could be. It was
When he
of the
stormed the
men.
Taylor
stage.
Swift.
There you go.
George Bush.
Post the Kanye meltdown.
Which one?
He did the VMA Awards, and this was a song that actually was. I mean, these days there's internet, so everything's released to some degree.
Right.
But it hadn't really been released. This Love Lockdown, and when he went out there and performed it at the VMAs, it was like a really passionate, and the music, the beat was kind of intense or whatever. So in that respect, I think they totally connected to that, and maybe that's where they were going with it too.
Right.
Because it was such an impression, and I think they left sort of that same impression on tonight's Sing Off.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Good one.
Yeah.
Good one. So then we had Delilah, the group we love to hate.
Yeah. They've been.
Sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry. We don't hate them.
No.
Honestly, we don't hate them. And but you know, they're a super group. 2 or 3 of the gals have been on the Sing Off with other groups on other seasons.
Oh wow.
And so, you know, they're a group of gals who have gone, I want you, I want you, I want you, I want you. You've been on the Sing Off before, so have I. We're going to be fabulous. And they do have a disadvantage because they're all female voices, and so they can't hit those lower
Yes,
notes.
that's what I did not
Right?
like. I'm like, where? I asked, where are the men?
Yeah.
Where are the guys? Where's the bass notes?
They're the girl power.
You have to. I think you need that oomph. Or then find some girls that have that.
Well, the bass notes are there. It's just the upper register of the bass. Instead of like getting on the dum dum, she's got
Right.
dum-dum-dum-dum.
Yeah, I want to hear that. Bass.
Well, and they had Gina singing. She's normally their percussionist, and the judges said that she was fantastic. I felt she was a little weak. I mean, I think
didn't
they
think
were
she was
being very generous.
The judges were being really nice to this
I
group.
think what they
Yeah.
were saying is, for a percussionist, you were fantastic.
Well,
I thought the first few were pitchy. The third one was just missing. The fourth girl up was pitchy. They got it back in the second half.
the second half, I
But
was
they
like,
had to-
well, now you've got me.
But they had to dig themselves out of such a hole.
That's right.
By the time to get
It
there,
shouldn't
it's just
take
like-
And
all
they-
the way to the
they
second
haven't
half.
done-
Don't have that much time.
They haven't really just dug themselves out of the hole this week. It's been weeks and weeks and weeks of not great performances. And for me, I always, if I see that opening number, that opening package, and they're complaining, fighting, arguing, not believing in themselves, I'm not registered to see them do anything successful.
Right.
So really, I was feeling like they'd go home at least this week. So they're about 4 weeks just hanging on in there. Hopefully,
Yeah.
They've
not-
been
And they
on the
were not
bubble,
even
huh?
in the bottom 2 this week. They
No,
were last week.
no.
They're on the bubble.
They were last
That was
week.
my
Just-
choice
there was
for
just
the bottom.
just didn't seem to be any confidence in the beginning. It wasn't until they hit that power note in the middle that they all
Yeah.
kind of went, okay, maybe we can pull this off.
But from
But-
then on, I thought it was great.
And I didn't even like
Yeah.
the song choice either.
I didn't
at
either.
all. I mean, that's a current radio record at the moment, but you like it?
No, I didn't really like much about it.
They're not.
One thing-
They're not attractive looking females.
Well,
The
hey.
song,
Ronnie.
the song is
Oh,
bad.
you are so shallow.
Everything is just bad.
You have to look good, sound good.
At least they didn't have the eyelashes on the bottom.
That's true.
Oh my god!
Did they have that
was
the last
making me
time?
A couple
crazy.
of the
The
groups.
false
All the groups.
eyelashes for the first 3 weeks. They were putting bottom. It was crazy. I was
So it
totally
didn't look good?
distracted.
Didn't
It was
look
Well,
good?
terrible.
me and Steve were really paying attention to the eyelash
Oh.
etiquette.
Yeah.
We
right.
those are the
know-
notes we write down.
By the way, in the package, they did mention it's not what we do.
Right.
So,
Yeah, this is not our.
this is not our
Fort.
fort. Okay.
Did they all mention that? But every week, I mean, they have a new challenge every week, though, right? Isn't that the whole purpose of this
Yeah.
competition? So you're going to have a week where it's not going to be your fort,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. And evidently that was for a lot of the big groups this week.
Yeah.
It's what it is.
So then we had the Yellow Jackets doing Show Goes On.
Oh my God, there was like 52 of them.
There
Jamal,
was a few. I think there's
Holy
20 something.
Wow.
Jamal doing the rap. So
Ooh, I like that.
they had this big open. I thought they're too. The whole time I was kind of going, like, you know, when somebody's singing flat and you're like trying to help
But
them.
it's not quite.
You're turning
I
your
felt like-
head, hoping that
I felt like they were just disconnected. I thought the tuning was off. They were rushing like a freight train.
Here's what I think it is. I think it was the America Sings Up With People element.
Oh yeah.
And this is where I'm talking about big groups are not going to be advantageous here. Now it's
Okay.
going to stick out like a sore thumb. If you come out with a wall of la sound, it's just going to be, okay, whoa, you know, up with people. Let's back it off just a little bit. At this point, these guys have got to figure out how to break it down and make 5 voices out of all those voices and do something interesting within that quintet. Or it's just going to be the same sort of, you know, big booming thing that you're getting to the point in this competition where it's kind of like, okay, yeah, I've seen it. Come on. And that was kind of
good point.
I think that's what they were talking about when they were talking about, you know, it's all one level, no dynamics and everything. And it's, if they don't change up and figure out a way to get around this, they're going to be on the bubble pretty soon. But and the other thing is, look, if you're going to open a thing about, you know, how much we help the Kenya kids,
Right.
that's like going, look at, we don't have a lot in our pocket right now, so can you throw us a bone for what we did over in Kenya?
We're not going to talk
and
about
oh,
the
by the
music.
way, the guys that actually lived
We're
through a civil
from-
war
yeah.
and survived because of their music, they got kicked off the first week. So this whole, you know, helping Africa thing isn't not going to help you.
Do you think they're playing on that a lot?
I don't know. I just thought it was kind of weird to have that in the package. It's like, you know, bring that back now. It's like, well, okay, whatever.
I mean, maybe they had no conflict to show this week. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, that was probably all they drew from.
What did you think?
They were so yellow. I mean, they were. It was so distracting. You know how you talk about like Delilah not being the most attractive group? It was so much yellow, and there were so many of them. And then I got stuck on the whole Kenya thing that I kind of paid attention.
I was gonna say, did you even hear them sing?
I know. Yeah.
Did you tune
They
out?
did not make an impression.
I tuned out a little bit just because I was like trying to think about Kenya, and it's like, oh wow, and then the guy that was crying. And
There's a lot to them,
so much
yeah.
yellow. It was just so distracting.
They are definitely the Yellow Jackets. They actually took the.
Well, I know they're called that,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I really didn't think they were going to come
Listen,
out yellow.
we have a lot to talk about with the Yellow Jackets, and actually on this week's The Soup, Joel McHale
Yes.
actually made fun of our beloved Yellow Jackets.
I know, but they did show the part of that song that was the worst.
Well, the worst. So yeah, it looked
Yeah,
just like that. So,
I know.
Oh,
So,
when they're
And I'm
doing
a
their
girl.
dance numbers?
Oh, when he was, friendship never ends.
yeah.
It was
so,
terrible.
So we both saw that. I like the song choice. I think, you know, with all these people in the back, there's so much noise going on. And also I wanted to say, Jamal as a rapper, he kind of, as far as level of difficulty, he was out there the longest out of every single song that was performed.
Right.
Everyone would duck in and out, you know, and it'd be, you know, different parts of the song. But he rapped for a very long time. And, you know, how do you connect that as an acapella? So that was a big challenge, I thought.
And so do you think they didn't do a good job of connecting?
I didn't. I felt like Jamal was sort of drowned out. I couldn't really do both. I couldn't go with him rapping, and I couldn't go
Okay.
with all the greatness that was going on in the background. Connecting those two, I couldn't get.
Didn't you kind of feel it was
And I
like
love that song a lot, and I think I want more. I want to see them do it again eventually and get better.
But didn't you feel you would have seen it like at Disneyland? Like on one of the stages?
Almost like gimmicky, yeah.
Homogenized sort of. We have to present rap in a way that all of America can accept it.
A little
so
bit of
let's do
Velveeta.
this up with people and put the
And it seems
African American and let him rap.
And it seems
no
like
dirty words.
They could have done better. It seems as if they could have done better, but
Well, and they ended up in the bottom too,
yeah.
They did.
and had to do the sing-offs.
Mm-hmm.
Sing
Sing
off.
off.
Just a dream.
Right. So Nelly's song. So the collective comes out, and I thought their tuning was off, right?
Yeah, it
I
was.
think everybody.
Again, if
Even-
listen, if you're doing this song, if they're saying, look, you need to ace this song to go on,
Right.
then I would say, guys,
Ace it.
we practice this song and we figure out a way that we do this that no one has heard before. And if it requires
Absolutely.
doing, tricky echoes and tricky tricks or whatever you need to do with your voice, we figure it out.
Right. So I think a couple of things happened. I think probably none of the groups gave the sing-off song enough rehearsal because they all figured it's not going to happen to us,
Right.
right? They had it for a week. Granted, it was a really short clip of the song. It was like 30 seconds, it seemed to me.
Yeah, it wasn't long at all.
And then the other thing is the pressure of the performance situation in that moment was different from anything that we've seen. They have all the elements you already have: the lights, the audience, the judges, the mics, all of that stuff that can really throw you off your game if you're used to standing on your college campus, stage with your one mic. And your competition is standing 10 feet away, and you're given 30 seconds before
It was so
you go.
urgent. That's what
Yes.
caused all that.
And that's
And so
what
I
I
think
love
they
But
were
isn't
all
that-
wildly
there's a
nervous,
purpose
and
to
that
that.
was exciting.
Did you think
I
it was
loved
going to
it.
be that exciting? Because we've been watching it, and this was like, I want to see that every single week.
I
Put
know.
one group
We
up, and
absolutely
I loved
should do
all
a
of
sing-off
those
every
albums.
week.
I want to see an
neither-
episode with all of Delilah against
That's the
every
point.
Yeah.
That's the competition, though. It's like you have to. That's what I thought. The Yellow Jackets. That's when I thought they were dynamic.
In that song?
I did.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
liked how they came down and they came back up. And
Yeah.
I like
they
the
seemed more so
Collective.
than the collective. They seemed like, oh, this is our last chance.
But you thought Collective was better.
I definitely like Collective better. Yeah, I understand all the issues you guys are talking about, but I thought Collective in that moment sold it a little bit better.
I liked the
But they
sudden death playoff
went on.
thing. I thought that was
Oh, I
a
think
great
it's
way to
great.
do the sports sort of thing.
Fantastic.
Like
Yeah.
someone for me it was a wash.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
when they were both done, I was like, guys, neither one of you actually brought it. Like, it could have been a coin
We're
toss.
ready to send them both
because they
packing.
both, to me, they both had the same amount of energy, and I think you're right. I think everyone that week said it's not going to be us, so let's just learn
Yeah.
it. And you know who it's going to be? It's going to be those guys.
Yeah.
You know?
Let's get our first song right so that we don't end up in that
Exactly.
position.
I think the spies.
yeah,
The spies have.
that's-
The
yeah.
spies have told me that when they were all together, all the groups got together and said, "Oh, Delilah, they're gonna have to do the song." So,
Yeah.
they kind of just said it's gonna be all right. Yeah, the spies have told me
They
that.
all-
yeah.
they all-
yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
I've been
gosh.
informed. Yeah.
Okay.
let's go to
we have a mole.
Yeah. Well, let's go to a commercial, and then we'll come back and do predictions, and I'll see if I have any news here.
Okay.
Be right back.
The biggest new media platform on the web just got bigger. More bandwidth, smoother streaming, lightning fast download.
Don't get technical with me.
AfterBuzz TV is making the jump to hyperspace. Join the fun at your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Look at the size of that thing.
AfterBuzz TV.
Oh, hey. It's
Hey,
the
we're
show.
back. Hey, Tam, we're doing a show.
Hi, everybody. How's it going? Yeah, we were just talking about how much shorter the
Short.
commercial is now, and I got caught off guard.
I think Jesse just shortens it up just so he's watching you
Yeah.
when you're not ready.
He goes, oh, look, Tam's not watching. Let's pull it out. I had a little, I talked about last week on Star Pulse that they did interviews with the groups that left. They did not do an interview with,
Collective.
Last week's loser.
right. Yeah. But I did find an interview with Messiah's Men, who are still kind of my sentimental favorite. They're the ones that you're talking about who came from
yeah, they got
this
they
season,
got
right?
knocked out early.
Niger or
Yeah,
Namibia or something
they
like
actually survived a civil war and did
Literally.
it through
Oh,
their
Oh, they're the
music.
ones that got booted the first
that. Yes.
round.
Yes, and I'm really sad that they did. So when you get a chance, take a look on Star Pulse because they have a really nice interview with them. But one of the things that they talked about, which is it just kind of shows how lovely they are. They said some members of our group expressed initial reservation that as a Christian group we should not audition for the show, but we ended up doing it because we believed our story of hope and triumph and our Afrocentric style of music needed to be heard by a national audience. And clearly they've made an impression on me. We talk about them every week. And Committed, who is the group who won last year, was a gospel group who had never sang a secular song before they did the sing-off. They had only sung sacred music before that point. And so I just sort of wanted to mention that this interview is on starpulse.com and take a look at it because it's a really interesting interview. And
That's
they're
interesting
just sweet
that
guys.
they were thinking, not to do it
Mm-hmm.
because do I think they would have lasted this long? I don't know, but I think I would have definitely liked to hang with them for a few weeks and see what they could have done with some of these songs because, they were actually bringing a specific sound and a specific genre
gonna have to go back and
this.
listen to that.
You should go.
It was really a shame that they got knocked out so early, and I thought it was really unfair. I thought there was other bands that could have gone well before them.
Yep.
But
Like Delilah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
well, no, but and their whole story, and just from the fact that you can hang and learn more about what they went through and everything.
They were inspiring to watch on
really
several
were.
levels.
Yeah, they
so
were.
we miss them.
So,
Maybe maybe they'll. I said this.
Hey, they'll come back next year, maybe.
Maybe so.
Oh,
Maybe
they can come
so.
back?
Yeah, they're gonna mix their group with other half
okay.
groups, and it's gonna be
Okay.
Urban
the
Method
the
and-
hodgepodge.
Oh, my
yeah.
Lord.
Delilah
Okay.
and Messiah's men
Yeah,
come together
the Delia
to be
men.
the Delilah men.
Delia
I
men.
don't even know.
Messiah?
Wait, hold on.
Messiah.
So I would like to actually, Jesse, now go to predictions for next week.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Jesse on the fader.
So, as far as we know, because again, I was late and the president's in town, and so it's messing everything up around us
Freeways
here.
are no fun.
So he is still here.
Yes, he is. He's sleeping in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Goodness.
At the Hilton.
He's gonna be.
He's sleeping in Beverly Hills, and everyone else is sleeping in their car.
Someplace else, exactly.
Every
If
street
you're not
is
home by
closed.
now, you're not getting
He's
home.
in bed.
We love the guy, but God, you have a helicopter.
We're stuck
In
here.
all seriousness,
We're
I gotta
doing-
get out of
And
here.
I
doing
think you get to
AfterBuzz
fly
shows.
anywhere you want. Why do you need a car?
I know. So
Okay,
quick predictions. What do we have for next week? As far as we know, next week is still another freaking 2-hour show, and one group will go.
Yeah, Halloween
Pretty
night, yeah.
Pretty soon, we're going to go to 1-hour shows, and there will be voting coming up. So,
Well, they're superstar melodies.
right.
So I'm not sure what constitutes a superstar, but if I hear one Celine
that-
Dion
I was going to
song,
say, I'm sure it's going to be a Celine Dion.
Okay, so the
My Heart
collective
Goes On or whatever that is. So, and I'm not sure what melody is. Are they going to take like the greatest hits and put them together? Is that what they're talking about?
No, I don't think so necessarily. I don't think so. I actually thought I had
Wasn't
some of
it
their songs.
Superstar?
Here's my prediction. I'm going to do my prediction right now.
Uh-huh.
Superstar melodies, we will not hear one Beach Boy melody.
I bet you're right. I bet you're
But if
right.
we- but if we
Ronnie,
do-
But you know what? I'll bet it is. I bet they're not getting clearance. I bet that was a good point you brought up. I bet whoever.
Oh,
owns-
yeah, I bet they
whoever
didn't
owns
get
publishing
clearance
went, nah.
But
we're
you
not
would be
doing it.
very happy if it happened.
I thought it'd be awesome because those are the harmonies of the 60s.
They are.
and
Well,
70s.
they are, but we're out of that
We'll have
now.
to call our spies and make that
Yeah,
happen.
exactly. Ronnie, what's your
gosh.
prediction for next week? Anything?
As far as who I like, I
Anything.
Oh gosh, I think I'm dry. I'm just ready to see it next week. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I predict Ronnie dresses up as something next week.
I will
That's
do
how
it. I will do it. And I've always
Yay!
been several times. I've been the only dresser upper of Halloween. So
Yes, you have.
I did dreadlocks last year.
I told him last year we were having a Halloween contest.
I got
He's
no.
the only one that
I
came
have
dressed up.
the most minimalist costume, and I'll wear it.
What is it?
And I'm going to surprise you.
Oh,
But
yeah,
it is-
right?
it is minimalist, and you will be impressed.
No, I think we're all gonna
know what
be.
it's gonna be.
Oh, you already know.
It's not a G-string.
Oh,
wasn't.
please, God, don't.
I thought you were gonna bring.
It's a cheetah thong.
It's my
Cheetah
wrestling
thong.
outfit.
So, any predictions for next week, Kim Lai?
I'm excited to see Pentatonics.
Okay.
Because there's 5 of them.
All right.
I think they're going to do swell.
I'm gonna predict that Delilah is gonna be on the bottom next week,
Yeah, probably.
Isn't that
So-
predicted every week?
so to speak. And just quickly, anything anybody wants to promote, Kim Lai.
Kim Lai, what do you got going on?
What you got?
EatonAsian.com. The holidays are coming, and I have these spring roll to go kits. Nowhere else is selling them.
Oh, fantastic.
How to
Say it
make
again.
your
Where is it?
Eaton
Eaton Asian.
Spell it
It's
out
not a
because,
porn site. It's EATIN ASIAN.com.
Fantastic.
Wow, I can only guess how many misdirect hits you get.
It took a long time to get that one passed.
Yeah, no kidding. My website, tamaracentral.com, because I couldn't get tamara.com because it's a porn site. Thank you very much. So we will see you next week for the sing-off for Steve Bottomley, Ronnie Jr., Kim Lai, Jesse Janity. I am Tamara Burke. See you next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.
From producers Kevin Undergaro and Phil Svitek, engineer DJ Jesse Janity, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. If you have questions or comments, be sure to buzz us at info@AfterBuzzTV.com. And you can find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
AfterBuzz. The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.